guys, I got a little sleeper bow for you here that we're going to talk about. Want to know what it is? Come along and make sure to hang on to the end to watch all the information printed out for you so you can write it all down. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with podiumarcher.com, talking about a bow that is not a new bow. It's kind of a sleeper bow. A lot of shops don't carry it. A lot of places don't know about it. But because of what I've seen with the mid-price bows and what's been coming out and what's been happening to the price structure of it, it seems like most of them are raising their price a lot. I kind of think it's relevant to talk about this particular Mathews bow that you may or may not have ever heard of. It's called a Tactic. So what this is a redefined chill, to be honest, which is not massively new technology. But what I will tell you is it does have a modular exchange system. The rock mods that were made back in the day do fit this bow and gives you a really good backwall option, other than the Dynamod that comes with it that's a little spongy. But it does offer a wheel-lean shim kit system in a slightly wider, beefier limb than originally came on the chill. If you know the history of the chill, it tended to tweak a little bit over time because the limbs were a little skinny, resolved here. So, and this bow comes into you at about $800. And I never would have thought I'd be saying $800 is a mid-price bow, but now when you start looking at them, almost every brand, they're running $700-800 as their mid-price bow. So I felt it was relevant to do a little bit of testing on this bow because we haven't done it for you yet. But this bow comes in at 7-inch brace height. And that's longer than 7, a little bit, maybe 16th longer than 7, so that's cool. The axle says 30.5. Whoop, 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 whoop. Spot on 30.5, so that number's pretty good. Physical weight, let's see what we get here. It's 4.7 with our arrow rest on it, so that's probably 4.5, and they say 4.24. My guess is they're probably weighing it without the orbital dampener that's in the riser, or that one, to come up with that weight, so it's not completely misleading. Let's see here, what else we got to measure. It comes in 50-pound peak, 60-pound peak, 70-pound peak, has a physical draw weight, let off is 80% on a Dynamod. I think the rock mods are actually 85%, but I could be wrong. I can't recall. It's an older mod. It just says high let off, so maybe it's 80%. But it does give you a good backwall feel, and the draw lengths are all the way down to 23 and all the way up to 30. So this fits a lot of freaking people, folks. And at the physical weight that it is and the dimension it is, it would actually make a pretty nice ladies bow or short draw length person bow, where a lot of bows don't go down that short. A lot of them stop at like 25. So if you've got a really short draw length, or maybe even a growing youth that you want something with a little more performance. But because it's $800, I feel like we got to actually give it its fair shake. So here we go on feel. Well, we do got to measure a couple of new things we're measuring now. We're measuring the amount of actual reflex in a bow and how long the riser is. So, got a little yardstick here to make this part easy. This bow has 2 7/8 to 3 inch, really close somewhere in there, amount of reflex, and actual riser length, just use the yardstick, from where the limb and the limb pocket meet is 24 3/4 to 25, somewhere in there. So that's how long the riser is and what the how much reflex it has. So without further ado, let's shoot it a few times. Oh, didn't check the weight for you. 74.6. $70.7, so that's 70 pounds. Here we go. Dude, that's not closing.
Something just fell on the ground.
There we go. There we go. A little bit of vibration in there. Well, I shouldn't say, I'm not going to say a lot, but definitely way more than a flagship bow has. You can feel a bit of surge, but it does dissipate pretty quickly, so it's not hanging around like some of them do. The draw cycle's pretty smooth. There's a little bit of like as you're pulling back, you can kind of feel it get easier and then harder a couple of times in there. So it's probably not the super most efficient, but it's still pretty darn good. I've felt worse. You know what that is. And then the vibration's gone. So the initial vibration in it has quite a bit of surge, but it dissipates really fast to very little, and then it just kind of hangs out for a little while. I imagine if you put a decent stabilizer on there, you'd probably alleviate that. But let's see what the Crony says it does. All right, let's see how fast this thing is. Remember, 70 pounds, 30 inches, 350 grain arrow. .309. .311. .312. Doesn't exactly surprise me. You do got to remember it's a price point bow, so they're probably not going to give you a raging speed out of it. In fact, the reality is, if they did, you'd probably buy more of those and not more of the other. So there's most likely going to be a difference regardless of what they publish and advertise. We will test some of the other more price point bows, if you want to call them that. We did a Zion last year, and I don't think it was that much faster than that. And we've got the PSE's new drive model. We will test that. Anything else in that price point, there's a couple of the elites that we already tested. So put those numbers against that to be realistic as much as you can for what you're looking for. All in all, for the money, it's really a pretty nice bow, and you do get the Mathews name if you're a Mathews fan. Really not a bad bow. Something to look at if you're in that price point. I know a lot of shops don't carry them that is Mathews dealer, so you may have to call around to find somebody who's got them. We decided to start carrying it because of what happened with the price point structure of bows, and that bow's price didn't change. So check it out at your local shop, give them a call, see if they're going to carry it for you or not. Head on over to podiumarcher.com for all your archery needs that aren't a flagship or pro shop series bow, because we can't sell those, so don't ask. I can't. But maybe there's some accessories you can use, maybe there's some parts you can use, or maybe there's just something we can do to help you and make you a little better archer overall, because that's really our goal and why we're here. How about the like? How about the subscribe? And remember, all the statistical information will be printed at the back of this video for like the last 15 seconds, starting now.